Hello everyone! Marketing God's way can change the world.
Just because you're married or friends with somebody definitely does not mean that you should go into business with them.
There's marriage comes before business.
When we're starting off, we value money typically as the highest thing.
Jesus first, second comes our marriage.
If your vision for your business is only as far as you can take it as one person, then your vision for your business is definitely too small.
God paid people by project. Every time there was a work to be done, He gave them a project and then He paid for that project.
We want to put work on a pedestal, money on a pedestal, and we don't value time.
Hello everyone, here with Unlike Marketing. This is the first episode.
Yay.
And it's me and my wife speaking about marketing, but on a different way. Like we're gonna get about marketing, but we're gonna use a different we're gonna give a different look, a different perspective on marketing, given for normal people that they are not billionaire or millionaire yet, but they have the heart of business owners. They have the heart of ministry, and obviously we're gonna add God to all of this because we are all faith-based, right? And my wife, Sydney.
Hello.
You want to say anything?
No, I don't think I have anything to say yet. I mean, right now you just talk about what we're going to be talking about. So
Yeah. And this is the first episode. Obviously, I want everyone to know us. And then later on, we're going to have other people on this podcast, and we're going to discuss how we start, how everyone can start. And also in this day, in these days where everything looks corrupted, everything looks weird all around the world, we're going to speak about how marketing marketing God's way can change the world, and we can take the throne that God has given for us in this world at the end, for us Christian, and how we can reach people through marketing. Even in our normal business, doesn't mean we need to be ministries. We don't need to have a minister or non-profit to reach people. We can use our business to reach people through our marketing.
Mm-hmm.
What we write in our marketing is what influence people at the end of the day. We can influence people through Instagram, social media. Anyway, let's start with who we are. I think people want to know who we are. Me, I'm Giuseppe, and I'm from Italy. I moved here about 3 years ago, right? 3-4 years
I think
ago.
it's 3 years ago. Not 4. It's definitely not 4.
Okay, 3 years ago for a Bible college in Colorado. When I say here, I'm speaking about Colorado Springs. And it's also where I met my beautiful wife, Sydney. Do you want to say anything?
Sure. I mean, I can introduce myself.
Started.
Like you said, I'm Sydney. I am 27. I came here also for Bible school. That's how we met. We met at Charis Bible College.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been here for about 3 years also. I'm not from Colorado. I basically am kind of not from anywhere, but I like to tell people that I'm from the East Coast because I literally moved pretty much everywhere from in between Florida up to New York as a child, as a teenager. So I've moved, I'm pretty sure, over 13 times. So it's a lot. It's a lot of moves. So when people are like, oh my gosh, but which state do you feel like you're really from? I'm like, I don't feel like I'm really from any of them.
Right. That's the interesting discussion because I might not have said it, but I'm from Italy. Oh, maybe I say it, but my accent, even if I had a lot of people guessing my accent from a lot of countries that every time I don't know how they got there. Except for French, I can stand French. Can be really close to Italian. I can see that, but had people even guessing I'm from Australia.
That one's wild to me. There's no way you sound like you're from Australia. Okay. Or British. I'm like, you definitely don't sound Australian or British. But anyway.
Well, not for everyone. For some people, I can sound British.
You don't. No, that's just them.
Okay. Yeah. Well, anyway, that's happened. But yeah, that's I'm from Italy actually, and I moved from Switzerland. I was living in Switzerland. I was working there, in the like last 5 years, 6 years. I've been living in different country like Italy, Germany, Switzerland, and now the U.S. Obviously, right now we are still in Colorado Springs. We are married. We got married 1 year and a few months ago. Right?
Yes, we got married in the end of December, so it's February now. So yeah,
1
we've been
year
married
and 3 months. A year and 3 months.
Year and 2.
A
Yep.
year and 2 months. That's been pretty fun, right? Because for what people don't know, she's my partner in life, but my partner in business, and obviously, this is like mean a lot of things, and one of these is that we spend pretty much every hour together. There is no moment where we are like, "Hey, I'm going to work." No, I'm going to work. I'm staying home.
Yep.
She's going to work and she stay home.
Exactly.
Then pretty much we are spending every few seconds together, every hour, and it's been interesting. For sure, we can say that it's not for everyone, right?
Oh no, just because you're married or friends with somebody definitely does not mean that you should go into business with them. Because there are a lot of people, like, you can be friends with them, but working in a business or more professional type of setting, it's a whole different thing. And yeah, it definitely, I mean, when we started working together, it wasn't smooth sailing, definitely, from the beginning, because there's a lot of clashing, personality clashing, cultural clashing. We started working together in the business before we got married.
Yep.
So you asked me to join the business back in months before we got married. So it was just that dynamic of just learning. And it was a new business. So it was like we're in a new business together and learning how to do business together. And so that was interesting because we have very different personalities, which we're good, but at the same time, they can clash. They complement and clash when it comes to certain ways, just like work styles. Like, for instance, Giuseppe is very much like, go-gooder. I'm going to do it now. I'm going to do it 100%. If someone needs something right now, I'm just going to do it now, which is not the way I do things. Me, I'm like, okay, what needs to be done now? And it can be, if it can, not in a way to put things off, but I'm like, if it can be done later, it's fine. So I'm like, okay, I don't have to do it now. Like, it's not that urgent. So that was something that kind of like annoyed him because I'm like, okay, but did my stuff get done? Okay, then don't worry about how I do it. Don't worry about my methods. If it gets done in the time frame where it needs to get done and it gets the results, don't worry about whether I do it in one giant chunk or if I break it down into smaller pieces, because yeah, that's just how I do things. That was a big lesson for us when we were learning to work together, for sure. Do you remember anything else we had to?
No, I totally agree. That was big. And actually, like, just correcting, we started to work like more than 1 month we got married because we got married in December. Months, okay. Because we got married in December and we started to work together in September. Mm-hmm. But for everyone who's listening, I want to make sure that they understand, like, there's a, like, marriage comes before business. Like, we started to work together, but she was not partner in my business yet. Like, the business, when I started by myself. She was working with me, helping me in the business. I was pay her as an employee and not as a partner. Yeah. Because, like, I want to make sure that, like, first we had our marriage, because, like, if our marriage and work was not going to work together and fit, like, the one that I was going to leave was going to be the business partner. Like I would have preferred give up on her in the business, but keep her on my marriage. Yeah. And that's the thing, because, like, sometimes we hear people be like, hey, we test our business together for see if we can get married. And I'm like, yes, it's crazy. Come on, like, guys, like, literally, like, it's not, like, work comes always after. Like, we have a priority. Jesus is first, God is first. We speak with God, we have a relationship with God. Second comes our wedding, our marriage. Like, and you don't want to put anything else in that second place. Like, as the first place is God, and it's God alone, not churches, no people, no one, God alone. Second is your spouse. And it's your spouse alone. There is nothing else. There is not your service, not your church, not your work, not your sport, your hobbies and everything. There is nothing there with your spouse. And then Third, normally is if you have kids, they need to be your family, your kids. And then fourth, you're gonna introduce their your workplace because it's what you how you bring money home. And then there is the church, the serving, and everything going on, ministry going on. But like, and if ministry is your work, then obviously that's is on the same level like the work. But like, it's really important that for me was I need to figuring out our relationship first. Then once we got married, the month we got married, and we find out that we could work together. Obviously, we had our time. Finally, I decided I was like, okay, I'm making member of my LLC, partner of my company. But like that's the important things that I was like, I want to kind of like share with everyone like how important is like, even if you have the person you like inside the business, don't create a partnership yet.
Oh, 100%.
You know, like the first partnership with that person should be the marriage partnership. Like first sign that. Once you sign that, then you can sign the one for working together. But the opposite doesn't work good because like if you get together in business and you sign like a business together, you are now in business together, but you break your covenant, like engagement, you break your marriage, that's gonna be a mess. Like,
or sometimes you just end up not being together, and then you are a partner in this business with a person that you don't want to get married to anymore. Exactly. And I'm not saying that's going to happen to a lot of people, but I'm just saying it's like when people don't buy a house, don't recommend buying a house so early in a relationship. I don't recommend becoming partners in a business together, anything like that before you're actually married or really close to getting married, because that can be pretty messy if it doesn't work out. So I remember one of the best advice that we got for being married and being in business together was to essentially stay in your lane. So if it's like like we each have our areas of expertise that we're better at. You are on the tech side, you do the SEO, you do a lot of consulting, all that on the back end of websites and stuff like that. And I do the graphic design and logo design and all that kind of stuff. But because of that, then we had to learn like to let that person excel in their skill. Yeah. Like, and not give so much opinion to that person. I mean, me, it wasn't that hard because you literally, I don't know. I don't even know what advice I would give you because I don't even know how half that tech stuff works. But then sometimes it would still be funny because you would have like your designs and stuff that you would make, and I'd be like, well, I mean, I think it could be improved like this. And so that helped us a lot, learning that, okay, we know this person is talented in this area, so let them do it. And you can't like try to do your job and their job too, because then it also just like it gets personal because you have to see this person outside of work. So it's not worth it to be a control freak and be like, oh, you should do it this way. Well, I think you should do it this way. So that was one of the best advice too, I think, that we got for working together in business. And honestly, I feel like that's for whether you're married or not. When you're in partnership with people, you have to let them, you need to trust them enough to use their talents and their skills for the area that they're supposed to be in, the roles that they're supposed to be in. If you don't feel comfortable trusting a person in the role that they're supposed to have, then you don't need to work with them. Yeah, okay. Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's true. It has been like a journey, more like understanding, because like for me, I feel like I can do everything. like I have this mentality like, oh, if I put myself 100%, I can learn to do anything. And I even actually like in high school, university, I had guy, he was working on music production and everything, and I always went to him. I was like, hey man, like I want to come with you, like he had such a great cool job. Like he would like prepare concert for people, like for famous things. Like they would pay him to prepare the full stadium, like putting the speaker on the right angles and everything, because like there is all like people think it's easy, but like you have to make sure that the sound there is no echo inside the stadium and everything. And he was doing that, and I told him, man, like please, like take me with you. I want to learn. And he was like, I remember like after many years in university together, he was like, no, I cannot take you. You're gonna steal my work. Like if I show you how to do it. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like I'm not doing this. But like in the reality, it's like
for me it's everything about like learning and everything. Then like if I can, my idea was like I can take from everyone and grab like knowledge from other people and use it.
Yeah.
And I think it was the same things when I got married with you. I was like, okay, yes, she's good, better than me in design, but like by looking at her, I might be able to make other design by myself. And I wanted to do that. I was like, oh, I can do it. You know, like it doesn't need to be all her. And then like had to figuring out like, no, actually, I need to focus on my skills and actually what I really like, because I'm probably able to do everything. There are people in the world that have multi skill, like they can learn any skills, like can pretty much be able to do anyone. But like the problem is with that is that we have no focus. Like it's really difficult to focus on one thing and to do that and to take that things to the end.
Yeah.
Because like before we get to the end, we are already attracted to do a new thing. And that's also happen in every business. Like we're speaking about unlike marketing. Like unlike marketing is also talking about like a lot of like small business, starting business. They have the idea like, oh, I can do that. Like I'm a business owner, I can do this, I can do that, I can do that. I can manage anything. But like the reality is like you can't. Like we are not made to work alone. Like God never made anyone to work alone. In the Bible, everything God was doing was all calling like a group of people to do it. He never like built the temple with one person. He never asked one person to build the temple. He sent like a team of people to build the temple. He never, even Jesus is God itself. Like he could have done all the ministry by himself. Why he did not?
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Why Jesus did not? Why Jesus was like, oh, I need to build a team. I need to have 12 people with me. Around me. Actually, we heard in a point that there were over 70 people follow him.
Yeah.
They left because they got scared when he said like, you need to eat from me because I'm the
But
person.
that's a difference.
Yes, that's for another time. But like in general, like you can see again and again in the Bible, like doesn't matter the budget that you have, like you need a team.
Yeah.
You know, like people, they always think like, oh, if I have, this is the word mentality, like if I have this money, I can have these people, if I have this, and obviously we need to be wise on how we hire people. We cannot just like enslave everyone and just like having free work people like around us. But
hopefully you're paying them. You're not
yes.
enslaving anybody, but
let's not enslave people, guys, like just because we don't have money, but we want team.
Yeah.
But like the reality is that we need to believe and having people around us. Like we need to have people. We need to invest our money in people. And actually, like if you see again in the Bible, each person that God sent to Jesus, to Moses, they had specific skills.
Yep.
That was mean. Like they had an accountant.
Yeah.
Like Matthew was the accountant of them. Like he was the one knowing about money, how to run math and everything. And there were people like Peter was more on the leadership time, was the one like kind of like making sure that everyone was working group, even if it was not perfect. But like he was supposed to be in the leadership and create the system for everyone to work. And then you had the marketing also in if you think about, you had marketing, because actually like kind of like interesting things is that in my belief for reading the Bible, I feel like the marketing was made mostly from the girls. Because like if you notice, like Jesus, like the first person that Jesus used to tell about everyone he's a Messiah was a woman.
Yeah.
Like, and she was doing marketing. She was doing literally marketing for Jesus. And it's like, hey, like here I am, a Messiah. Let me tell you about like your past, your future, and everything. And now go to everyone and tell everyone about me.
Yeah.
And honestly, like her life was not together. Like there was nothing, but she had a skill. She had the skill of like, she was not afraid. She went through so many things that now she didn't care about people anymore, like what they thought, because already they were thinking that she was crazy, she was weird.
Yeah.
And they're like she was not afraid to speak to people, and Jesus was like, that's the perfect person, because she has the perfect skills. She is not afraid of people. She can communicate and open herself. And she did the first social media things, like whatever we didn't have phone, Instagram, Facebook. She was the Instagram.
Yeah.
She went around and started to tell everyone in the village, like, hey, there's this guy, this is the Messiah, prophet. He can tell me about my past, future, all my problem, all my husband and everything. Like, isn't not that incredible? Like, that's Jesus could have done by himself. Let's be honest. Jesus could have like.
Jesus.
Yeah, just Jesus. Like he could probably use a megaphone with his voice and like and tell everyone I'm the Messiah and do miracle and things, but he didn't start with miracles.
Yeah. Well, you always see Jesus was always not just here to not here to show off what he could do, but also he was constantly leaving us examples on how we were supposed to do things.
Yeah.
And so part of that is how, like you were saying, how we're supposed to be in community, how we're supposed to work together. And I think a lot of times, especially when you're first starting out in a business and as you continue to grow, some of the emotions that it comes up a lot is like pride, fear, and control, because you have this pride that nobody can do it like you can do it.
Yep.
And you're afraid, and then the fear and control comes in because you're thinking, if I let somebody have responsibility, if I relinquish this control to somebody else, are they going to do it to the same standard? Are they going to do it the way I like it? And the pride comes back again because you're also saying that your way is the only way that it can be done.
Yep.
And I mean, it's something that with us, with our business, we have to work on a lot of times too. And also we've noticed just with working with other businesses, especially smaller businesses, that on one hand, they say they want to grow, but they are afraid to get more teammates. Yeah. They're afraid to hire people. They're afraid to expand. And it really is a control and a pride thing because you think that your business can only be done in exactly your way. Not that you don't have a culture and a system, which is a whole nother topic of when you're adding people to your team, how you have to have those things in place for sure. But there is the beauty in the way God created people that it's good that they don't think exactly like you. It's good that they have other ideas. It's good that they have other skills. Because as good as you may think you are, there's always somebody better than you. There's always somebody more talented than you. And not just that, you're dividing your attention. So the area that you excel in the most, let's say you're like, let's go back to us. Let's say you're like, your talent is like at 1,000 for SEO and marketing and stuff like that. And your talent in graphic design is 500. 500 is still not bad, but you could get somebody whose talent is 1,000 in design, which matches your 1,000 in SEO, and then you can take your business to even more because now you're both in your skills and in your lane. And it's the same thing like how we have potential for a lot of different things, but God has purpose for us specifically. And so just because you have potential in a lot of different things doesn't mean that you should necessarily pursue every single one of those things. Because that might not be your focus that you're supposed to have, or it might just not be your focus that you're supposed to have right now. But especially for business, especially when you're a business owner, your time is so valuable. You have to really decide, like, is this worth my time? Or can I have a person who's better at it than me a lot of times do this, and I can put my time to other things, which actually is going to make my business grow even more. So you have to also learn to value your time, which a lot of business owners don't, because when we're starting off, we value money typically as the highest thing. And so we think, oh, if I get another person, it's just going to cost me more money. But you don't see like, okay, getting another person is going to save me a lot of time, and I can use my time, which is valuable for other things inside the business and outside the business. And then eventually it's going to bring more growth to my business because now we can take on more clients, we can have more services and things of that nature. So it's really important to, when you're small business, you have to realize that you are only one person. Yep. There's only so much growth you can have by yourself. And I don't care if you're like, oh, I can take on this capacity, because like you're really driven, like you're a very like driven person. You could technically you can take on a lot. But I mean, I even have to stop sometimes and be like, okay, well, you don't have to do this. Like, you don't need to do this. It's not worth it. And so if your vision for your business is only as far as you can take it as one person, then your vision for your business is definitely too small. Yeah. Because you're limited. You're one person. You only be in one place at a time. And we know that multitasking is proven to not really be a thing. You can't multitask as good as you think. So there's no point.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's great what you say, like, to kind of like how that's connect to time and everything. And also depend on the people, because I agree, like, for me, it's like, I feel like I can take always more and more because I feel like I can make all this time. But at the end of the day, where I'm making this time, like the time is limited in a week. Means like all the time I'm taking time outside of my family. I'm taking time from my family. I'm taking time from my relationship with God. I'm taking time from so many things. And actually regarding time, we can make another like side things where like every time like people speak about giving, about like tithing, like tithe, you need to tithe, you know, like, and they always say like God say like you need to go give the first fruit in Leviticus to me, but like the first fruit like was intended for everything.
Yeah.
But we always like now see as a first fruit money, like what to make with money, but like was not only that. Because like think about even with like poor people and everything, when they don't have money, what first fruit they do? They can give to God. They don't make money and everything. What is the first fruit? But the first fruit for them, for us, it's also time.
Oh yeah.
Like we have a time in a week, and we should get like 10% of our time, the time we have in a week, we should give to God. In a day, 10% should be about like 2 hours and 4 minutes, pretty much. Sure. Yeah, 24 hours, like about 2 hours.
I believe you.
We should give it 2 hours to God, and it's like, but like we. Instead of do that, like we just think about like I know, like let me take away, like I need to spend these 2 hours working and bringing more clients, like this I can make more money, where like we can trust God, spend these 2 hours and a half with God, praying, spending time with Him, speak with Him, and hiring another person to do the work that we need to be done, and pay that person rightfully. Amen. Not just for fun, just not like the minimum wage type of thing, because like God never paid minimum wage, let's be honest. Like if every parable Jesus shared, and so for some people this might sound like weird, not true, minimum wage come from the Bible. It's biblical, because when God spoke about the talent, he had 3 people, the one with less skill, just because was an employee. Even with the one with less skill, God gave 1 talent.
And a talent is a lot of money.
Yes, it's about over $1 million.
It's a ton.
Compared
to
now.
It's like a whole year's salary or something.
Yeah.
Something that's a lot.
Anyway, just saying that's a minimum wage for some people. Like just showing you that guy. God knew that guy was not prepared, or he didn't have enough skill. But since he was part of his kingdom, he was part of the business. Yeah. He was like, I have to give something to him to be able to do something with it. And I'm giving 1 talent. Now, at the end of the story, he get fired. And it's like, that's why like exists like minimum wage, and this is firing. Exactly. Like we should be able to fire people like if people that don't do what are supposed to do in the business, or they don't come to what is needed in the business, then we are supposed to fire people. But at the end of the day, like minimum wage exists. And one thing that doesn't exist actually in the Bible, in my opinion, is it doesn't exist hourly pay. Everything in the world is divided hourly pay, but God always pay by value of person. Like if you go in the Bible, like for example with the talent, he valued, like he gave money to that person connect to his value, not how many hours he would work. Right. Like same things with make example in when I don't remember how it's called, the parable about
the workers.
With the workers.
And how I know what you're talking about, when the workers and they the workers that came later still got paid the same amount.
Exactly. Yeah. Because like God paid by value, paid by like how much you can give. Like he doesn't look at like how many hours you work, but like the value, like he doesn't pay by hours, by time, but he pays by like value, by knowledge, by skills. Yeah. You know, like if you have the same skill like the other person, you get paid the same. Yeah. And then things, as long as you do the work.
As long as the work gets done, yeah.
Get done.
I was like, it's not that we're just saying like, no, you can't pay people hourly.
No, exactly. No, you pay hourly, like, and it's fine, it's what we use, but actually like God paid people by project. If you think about that, like by every time there was a work to be done, he gave them a project, and then he paid for that project. Yeah. He didn't pay like, hey, tell me like how many hours you have done. Like, okay, you took like 20 hours for do that project. That person took 10 hours. You get paid the same because the project was the same. Yeah. That's kind of idea like how he pays. Like now it's on you to optimize your time. And that's why, like, if a person has more knowledge and skill, he's supposed to be paid more per hours. Like, you cannot pay, like, that's why you have, like, junior, beginner. For example, you get paid them, like, 17 hours, 20 hours, if you want to, per hours. And then, like, someone that's, like, senior, you're going to pay, like, 40, 50 hours. Because that person is going to make the same amount of work in half of the time, or like a quarter of the time of the other person, right, at the end of the day. And that's where the value is on the skill and the knowledge.
Yeah, I think just going into more time, that's something so important for businesses to figure out, especially when you're starting off, how to manage your time, how to value your time, and don't always just think of money as the biggest commodity and the biggest value, because it's so easy to take that and to start to value your work just by the money and not thinking about the time it takes you to do stuff. And so then you end up, we know, especially when you start out, you take clients that are not worth your time. And I'm not trying to be mean, but it's true. Some clients are really cheap. They want to nickel and dime you for every little thing. And then they don't, not only that, they don't appreciate your work. They don't appreciate the value and the time that you put in. And so you have to start being honest, even from the beginning of their business. Now, I'm not saying be so picky and be so bougie that you don't work with anybody, but it's definitely something like, oh, the amount of time that I'm going to put in, I need to consider that and how much I'm charging. And for the people that you work with, because some people, when you meet them, you're like, you already know this person is going to take up all your time, and then they're not going to be grateful, and then you're just going to stress yourself out. So it's going to take your time, how long it takes you to work on the project, and then the time outside of that, you're going to be stressed by this person. So it's just completely not worth it. And I think especially when you're married to, time is a huge thing, because then you have to, it kind of forces you to evaluate what you're doing with your time, with your work life versus your home life. Because then you have somebody who's going to be like, you're not spending enough time with me or something like that, you know? And so it makes you, to a certain extent, have to do that. And the sooner you start to figure that out, the better. And it's not a one-time thing. It's not like, okay, this is our schedule. This is how we're going to keep doing things. Because things change. Your life changes. You maybe have kids, you move, your business increases, you have more business going on, or maybe you have a lull time. So it's not something that is stagnant. It's something that you have to continuously look at and figure out, okay, how do I need to do this? And you need to ask God. God will show you. God will give you wisdom on how to do it. It's not a set thing like what you think is necessarily the best. And also, it's important to, I would say, even if you're not married, to get other people's input maybe on how you manage your time. Because when you're in it, it's so easy to get like tunnel vision and to think that, oh, I have a healthy balance. I have a healthy schedule. And then everybody's around you like you haven't slept in 5 years. You're losing weight.
Maybe you should ask your wife first.
Yeah, exactly.
If you have a wife, ask her like, hey, do you think like what I'm doing right now is good for you and everything? And you will get the real answer there, right there. You don't need to go so far away. Don't go to your friend. Like if you have if you're
not married,
if you're single, go to your friend. But
someone who's gonna be honest though, also,
honest.
And who knows you
exactly. Like the 5 close one.
Yeah.
But in other case, like the closest one for you, if you're married, is your wife.
Yeah.
Ask directly your wife or your husband. Like, hey, what do you think about
the way I manage my time?
What is going on in my life? What do you think is good? And you will see the first expression she will give to you will tell you everything, because obviously your wife, your husband, they are not trying to put the burden on you, because they understand that what you do, the work you do is because you care about the family, you want to bring money on the family.
Yeah.
But the reality is you have to ask them to be honest and to give you an honest answer, because at the end of the day, all of this is gonna get on them. It's like a burden that grow inside of them, where I don't really spend time with this person. This person is so focused on things, because we are supposed, again, coming back priority, we have God first, marriage second, and then kids, and then work. If you don't have kids, work. That means marriage should be first part of your work, of your life. Should be the second place there before your work. That means if that's a switch it, your wife can tell you right away, or your husband can tell you right away. You're like, hey, you actually, I would like to take a day off. We're supposed to have Saturday together, but the last a month,
you skipped it.
Yes, the last month, or every Friday or every Saturday, you always are working or replying to your email and everything, and you might be saying but I need to work, I need to bring the bread and home and everything. No, it's not you bring the bread, it's God bringing the bread.
Yep.
at the end of the day. You know, like if God doesn't want you to prosper, like God can cut all the resources from you right away. Like
Yeah.
like God, like
That's
at the
it.
end of the day, like it's not gonna do that because God is like good and He not looking to harm us.
Yeah.
But like He has everything in His hand. Means like He is like to a point where it's like He's gonna cut you the resources, and if it don't does it, like something's like it's your marriage is gonna drop because let's be honest, like look at all the millionaires, billionaires, not millionaires, more billionaires and everything. How many of them they really have a good marriage?
Oh, tons of. I mean, when you look at the trillionaires of the world, like, you know,
billionaires,
billionaires, trillionaires, whatever you want to call them, the really rich people.
Yes.
That a lot of them have like horrible family lives, or they just have really bad people skills.
Yeah.
Like, and do you want to be a person who has a lot of money, but like you're really like socially, and I'm not talking about, oh, you need to just be super trendy or anything like that, but basic people skills and things like that, and like you've been divorced a couple times and all this kind of stuff. Like, you do not want that to be like you work so hard and then you get to that point and you don't have any family, you don't have any loved ones, or you're just a weirdo now because you just spent so much time working, and then you became a very unbalanced person. And you can see also something else I noticed when it comes to like just your time and things like that. When you ask people, you can also ask for suggestions. Again, this takes humility because then people are going to tell you that actually when you do this, you know, it's not a good habit and you're not doing it very well. And then it hurts your pride a little bit because, you know, you want to think that you got it, you know what you're doing, you're a boss, all this, that, and the other. And so it hurts a little bit, but it's good because then people tell you, okay, you know, maybe you could do this better. Maybe you need to cut this out. And sometimes it makes you more productive because one thing I've been realizing more and more is that there's a difference between being productive and being busy. Yeah. And it's also because we like to watch, what's that show? We like to watch Bar Rescue, and we like to watch Kitchen Nightmares. And it's funny because you see a lot of people, the owners of like the bar or owner of the restaurant, they'll like, you know, they work every day of the week, sun up to sundown and stuff, but their restaurant is trash and they're in like $300,000 in debt and all this stuff. And you see what they're doing, and I was like, this is the most unproductive stuff you can do. Like, you're doing napkins, folding napkins or something like that, instead of like, oh, making sure that the supplies for the restaurant is being properly organized so you're not wasting money. Just goes to show you that like you're spending so many hours on stuff that's not even profitable. You're just busy, because we equate busyness to being productive, but it's not really true. And we think that rest is not productive. But it actually is, because rest gets your body to relax, especially being a creative person. You need to rest, or else you're just going to... If I try to force a design or something, I just sit there like, no, I'm just going to stiff arm it and get it done. I get nothing, or I get a really ugly design. Like, rest is so important because it gives your body a chance to relax and just let things flow. So it actually will help your work and increase your productivity. I mean, you already know that your productivity goes down anyway when you go so long without resting and taking time out. And so it's so easy in a lot of cultures to think of rest as not something helpful. Not being productive. And don't value it. Yeah. But, and then we just want to put work on a pedestal, money on a pedestal, and we don't value time, and then we don't value rest. But those things are equally as important, because God never created us to just always be working and working and working. He created us to enjoy life. He created us to use our time wisely, because like I said, money is just a tool. So if money is your whole life, that doesn't really make any sense when you think about it like that. Like, I think about another thing that we sometimes like to watch, see, is the clips from, we don't watch the show, but Extreme Cheapskates. And it's pretty funny because it's funny but crazy and sad in a way, because you see people who, some of them have tons of money. Like, I've seen that some of those people will be millionaires, and they're like dumpster diving. Like, they're looking for food out of trash cans, and they won't spend any money on themselves. So I'm like, you have money, but you're not willing to spend it. What's the point of having money if you're never going to use it? And so that goes back to this whole idea of like how you made money such a goal and such an idol that you've forgotten what money is for. Having money is not for the sake of having money. It's so that way you can use it for other things. And so if you focus on money too much, you're never even going to realize when it's time to relax, when it's time to actually spend it, when it's time to just have fun with your spouse or your friends or whatever part of your life, whatever season in your life you're in, you know?
Yeah, I agree. It's like, you put so many things. I'm like, we can go back. We can go here for like hours right now. Like,
Yeah.
like just the last few things you say. You went through so many stuff that
That's
like
how I talk. I connect everything.
yes, spaghetti talk.
Yeah.
Anyway, like the real things we like right now we are kind of like going toward the end of the episode of this episode. We are gonna come back another time. Looks like we have a lot of things to speak about. For the people that don't know, like me and her, when we get like in talk, like yes, most of her she can go 5 hours discussing about things. She's really good about that, and I'm gonna bring her on this podcast a lot more time because I know you guys want to have her on this podcast. So you want to hear exactly. You want to hear from her, and that's why you need to subscribe right now to the podcast. Follow us, like unlike marketing. Maybe you want to say it because my accent sometimes like doesn't make easy.
Unlike marketing.
Yes.
I think you said it pretty well. So yeah, if you guys want to subscribe to Unlike Marketing, hit like, subscribe, all the things.
But yeah, because we want to go more in depth on that. Like there is a lot of things, and that we learn. Like it's kind of like interesting. She was saying she made some example like some of the show we'll watch it, and actually there is another thing we noticed from that show is that like a lot of the problem between be busy and be productive comes from like emotional damage, like from spiritual damage, and that's why people are not like they start to trying to be more busy, like productive, because they always do things just to not think about something that's wrong in their life. And that's gonna actually reduce the quality of what they are doing. And it looks like they're doing a lot of things, but nothing of that is good at the end of the day. And we want to go through that. We want to understand more of this. As I say, like unlike marketing, some people ask, what is disconnect to marketing? Marketing is how we present things, and it's also how we present ourselves. You know, like every time we speak with people, we are marketing our personality. Like we are marketing, and some of the bigger like persona market like are like sport people, like sport players. Like for example, like Michael Jordan and everything. Like the athletes, like the way they do things and everything represent. They create like brands and marketing on themselves. And that's the same thing. Like each one of us can do that. Each one of us is that. Like the main marketing is for our business, not the business itself, the brand of the business, but is actually start from us, start from who we are, start from you, founder, CEO of that business. And also like living with people is about marketing, like it's about presenting ourselves. And we won't go more in deep in that, but like for today, I think we touched a lot of things. We can present ourselves. We have a lot more stuff to talk about, but I will make sure to have like an episode every week like this. All of you can follow us, can enjoy some time with us, and I will bring other amazing people on this podcast. And again, I will not bring just people that they're like our goals of where we want to reach, but we are gonna bring people that they are like just starting, people like that, like us. Like for us, we have been like 2 years now in business, a bit more.
Closer to 3 actually.
We are in the 3rd year, but like, and but the real like, we also want to bring people that maybe are starting now. Like, listen to their fear. Maybe you can, we can answer some of their question and will be helpful for you. But for now, I want to thank everyone. I want to thank mostly my wife to be here. Enjoy this time with me. My first episode with my wife is the best.
He has to say that.
Yes, exactly. Husband, learn from this. And I'm looking forward to having you again here. To have everyone listening my podcast, I want to thank you. And I want to invite you to enjoy your time, enjoy your day, and have a blessed day with God. In Jesus' name, amen. Bye.
Yeah.